headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.
I first of all, I need to know, how badly are you feeling? And because some people haven't had COVID, how has it affected you?
It's not pleasant. It's not been fun, but it's all right. I mean, Blaze doesn't like it. He's just left. It's not been heaven, and it's now sinking down into my chest, as happens. But it's all right. It's not the end of the world. I think I'm going to make it through, much the chagrin of those that wish me dead.
How many days have you had it now?
I don't know. I think I was playing football with my son, doing crosses and working on his volleys on Saturday afternoon, and then I came back in and I felt rotten as hell, like in a minute or two, and then I was like, I'm actually interested. I'll test myself now. I've never tested myself unless I've been forced to by the government to go on holiday or whatever. And I tested myself and I was positive, and I've tested it. Now I'm addicted to testing myself. It's amazing.
Yeah, you need to get off that. That is addictive.
So I've tested myself, and I'm still all over it. Yeah.
And family, are they okay? Because will be a tendency for them to perhaps get it.
Well, my fiance very nearly died of it in June. So yeah, I'm very familiar with of how bad COVID can be. Yeah.
Now, everybody is worried because, have people, by the way, been threatening your life?
Oh, yeah. I get people threatening my life all the time.
I thought they only did that to me and Ash.
Yeah.
No, come on. We'll
really?
get on.
Laurence gets it, yeah. And
yeah. But they're on your side. They're very. I was going to say vivacious would be completely the wrong word. They're remarkably. I can't use the word I want to use on the air, otherwise we would just be closed down. But they're remarkably vociferous in their outlook and their wishes. I mean, we get some pretty horrible ones, even poor Ash. But this is just the interesting thing of this debate about the vaccine. But before we get on to that, Laurence, because I am a big fan of yours. We've spoken before all of this so-called argument we've had on social media. You were amazing in Lewis, which I loved. And then suddenly you went on that appalling BBC programme and got cancelled by those ridiculously stupid, ignorant and vile people who, if they want to cancel me, they're more than welcome, because I couldn't care less.
Because equity actually was part of the problem that started all that, wasn't it?
Yeah, the clue is in the word equity.
Well, can I just say that I started off as an actor, and I had to get an equity card to get a job, as you know. And you may not agree with what I'm about to say, but then the sainted Margaret Thatcher forever will be remembered, who suddenly made it possible to get a job without having to be a member of a union. And the union equity, when I was in it, was so useless. They're most useless. I was on a film set as an extra one day, and all the lights burst, and everybody was wearing their own clothes, and they all got burnt. And so they went to the equity rep and said, "Oh, can you claim for new clothes?" "Oh, no, we couldn't do that. They might not employ you again." They were that useless. And so later on in about... Go on.
They were that useless to me, weren't they? You've got what's her face, Whoopi Goldberg, saying today, talking about the Holocaust in the most despicable and disgusting way, and just really, I hate to say it, but it's true. Owing to her skin color, she's getting away with extremely incendiary racist language, and I got cancelled for saying that England's quite a nice country. So, I mean,
I don't understand that at all, because it's a skin colour thing. It's like, part of this modern progressive woke religion, which is the thing that I think you and I do have in common. Like, you and I think we're fairly clear that we fundamentally disagree over vaccines and all of this sort of stuff. But where we do agree is that the woke religion, this horrible burgeoning woke religion, is very discriminatory towards everybody and very racist towards everybody. And, I was cancelled. I had an entire 22-year acting career just finished overnight for pointing out that England is quite a warm and welcoming and tolerant country. And Whoopi Goldberg actually said on television
that it was two bunches of white people fighting against each other. Now, as far as I remember from history class, it was a bunch of Nazis murdering Jews. That's how I see it, and I think that's how we should all see it.
Only, yeah, but to be fair, and I wasn't really taught this at school because we have, in a way, we did try and sort of cancel out of our history very many things. A lot of our soldiers were from, which is a word nobody wants to use, the colonies. There were lots of black soldiers, black British soldiers fighting in the Second World War that hardly got any recognition at all. And I think that was absolutely appalling. So I think on all counts, Whoopi Goldberg should think before she opens her mouth.
Well, exactly. But, how do we measure this? Because the point to me is, if I can say something which is fairly non-controversial, which is that England is a warm and welcoming, tolerant country, which it is, proven overwhelmingly time and time again, and then that Whoopi Goldberg can turn around and go, the only way you can differentiate someone's race is by the colour of their skin, which is a totally facile way of looking at something. And, we all just sort of turn the other way. It's the same as the points that I've been making about the footballers. The minute I say, look, football as an industry has a problem with these young, very overpaid men who are, they're not allowed to drink, they're not allowed to have any vices, they gamble and they exploit women. Football has a systemic female sexual abuse problem. But if I mention it, they call me a racist. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, this is just, this is madness.
I don't know why they do, because one of the things that Ash and I were talking about and talk about from time to time when prompted to do so is what we consider the rather ridiculous virtual signalling of taking the knee. And all the footballers have decided they've been told that they have to take the knee, which means some of them will be taking the knee that totally don't agree with what they're doing. Now, I don't agree with any kind of ism. I don't agree with racism, sexism. I don't agree with any of those, not liking somebody because of their colour, because of their religion, because of, all kinds of things. But something somewhere somebody said to me once, rang a few, but I said, white-skinned people have been very dominant for so long and now you're getting a taste of your own medicine. Maybe there is a little something in that.
Well, they certainly changed the knee, didn't they, to say now it's anti-racism, because they realised they looked a bit silly saying it was the Black Lives Matter. So they've subtly changed it, and hope we didn't notice. But it was always kick racism out. That was always the message, and that's what people were saying. And now they've actually agreed with it and sort of brushed it under the carpet.
Fortunately, they've all got nice new houses in Topanga Canyon, so and they've spent all the money that the Black Lives Matter people, people who genuinely wanted social change have invested in, and the people, the crooks involved in Black Lives Matter and all these horrible social justice movements have just stolen the money, gone and bought themselves a nice little house, and then they're laughing at black people.
We don't necessarily know that for a fact.
Well, we do know that for a fact.
I saw a news story about something, but.
Let's not give too many people too much ammunition to continue. I want to see you back acting. Do you want to act again?
I'd love to act, James, but here's the thing. You said you're not into isms, right? So what do you feel yourself, with your own health profile and all the things that you've been through? What do you feel about, when you were talking about me the other day, this seatbelt analogy, which I find problematic, because you said,
Probably wasn't the best analogy I've ever done, Lawrence.
We didn't know you were listening. We wouldn't have said it if we knew.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't listening. I just sent it on Twitter. Oh, no. So I was like,
Telltales.
Exactly, awful, isn't it? But I was looking at it and I was going, I don't feel, as I've said, and I'll share again with your listeners, when I was a child, I used to get an old set of Sony earphones and a radio, and I'd have it under my pillow, and I used to listen to James Whale speak when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I used to listen to him every night.
Am I that older than you?
Yeah, you are.
Was that on the old talk radio at Talk Sports?
Whatever it was on, I used to listen to it, and it used to really annoy my dad because I'd pull the headphone jack out, and then he would come in, and you would be blaring out in the thing. But what you said, this analogy of the seatbelt analogy, I think is a very poor analogy, because you can take a seatbelt off when you get out of the car. What you can't do is take an experimental mRNA treatment out of your body when you get out of bed in the morning or when you've done. So all I want to do is have a reasonable and grown-up conversation with you. Whereas, what's your position on vaccines? What's your position on
we are going to get to that, but I just thought I'd ask you a few other things and make sure it's no. But we will talk about that now, because I have spoken, and I'm sure you have as well, but I have spoken, and I made a point today of talking to some people who are very knowledgeable about this thing. Andrew MacDonald, who is a virologist, professor of virology from Leeds University, who trains people to, and who we have on the show quite often from time to time. And first of all, he's very worried about you using, or anyone for that matter, using ivermectin. Or whatever it is, the horse drug. He's very worried about
Hang on.
All right, okay.
You can't say it's a horse drug, James. This is a drug
because that's what it was used for in the first place. But okay.
No, this is a drug that's been prescribed to billions of people in sub-Saharan Africa and across the Middle East for generations.
We don't live there. But we don't live there.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. And but what I'm saying to you, while you preface
it's not just for horses.
It's that I'm just pointing out that
it's not legal here either.
It's billions of doses of this have been prescribed across sub-Saharan Africa and the Middle East to prevent parasitic infection. It has also been proven time and time again to have antiviral qualities. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not sitting there turning around and saying Laurence Fox.
Nor am I.
But the professor said it killed a vaccine in the laboratory in the virus, but not in a human body. It's not.
No. But also, at no point in this discussion am I trying to tell you that I'm the expert. I'm just saying to you, I'm just trying to say to you that anyone that turns around and calls it a horse drug makes me even more suspicious.
Well, that is the thing, that is fake as well. So it does.
Amoxicillin is a horse drug. It's but we still use it on humans.
Yes. Yeah.
It is a drug that has and is primarily used on horses for bugs in the gut. But what I'm saying to you is that I'm not a doctor. I have no medical knowledge either, probably as much as you. And I have spoken to the experts who have said, don't take this. It is not something you want to take unless you have something that is, it is designed to treat. People have said, and I know people have said, oh, yeah, this will have great effect. And you've said that you've been taking it for the COVID and it might, the COVID hopefully will go quite quickly as it started in a couple of weeks. But you won't know whether it had anything to do with the ivermectin, the fact that you might have the antibodies or whatever.
No,
the problem I have.
I'm just asking the question. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to say I'm bored of the conversation that the only solution to the COVID pandemic, which is real, which has killed people. So I'm not denying the existence of COVID. I'm not, where people
because some people are.
Is that on? Yeah, of course they are, and that's true. But this is why I wanted to talk to you on the radio tonight, is that we need to have a look at the government website, which says when you've got COVID, what are your early treatment options at home? And the early treatment options currently offered by the government are Panadol and ibuprofen. Now, I'm saying I also bought, alongside of the ivermectin, I bought some quercetin, I bought some this nasal rinse stuff. And I've found, I was ill with it. I'm tested again now because I'm so addicted to testing. It's brilliant. Because I want to go back to work. I'm bored. I feel well. I have found that this has really helped me. Now, I can't tell you whether ivermectin's helped me or not. What I can say is, wouldn't it be a good idea that our government presented Britons, this Gary Lineker story of if wearing a mask saves just one life, then it's worth doing. I'm just saying, okay, well, is an early treatment protocol also worth the same level of
well, I think they should have helped, because they were just waiting for people to go to hospital, I think, and you could help it with steroids before to stop them going to hospital, and they weren't doing that. So,
but listen, let's get to the real point, because we can talk about all these kind of things, all the ideas. One common claim you may have heard is that Japan is using ivermectin to fight COVID. Completely wrong. It was made up on an American radio program. They put it on their website, and it is proved to be wrong. There are all kinds of stories like this. All I'm saying is, I have some underlying health issues, as they say, which are not, you just get on with life. And I've asked my consultants a number of times when this first happened, should I get this vaccine, when they were just talking about it? And the guy who treats me, who I will get on the programme again, he's and you would like him, Laurence, actually. You get on with him very well. He doesn't actually look like a doctor, but he is probably the biggest authority on kidney cancer, which is cancer I have in this country. And he has been involved in all kinds of research for possible cures in the future. Won't be in my time, but, I'm sure in the future there will be cures for cancer. And he's explained how this vaccine was been put together by things that have been tested. There will always be people who are badly affected by medicine. There are people who are allergic to aspirins and paracetamol, and all kinds of things. And we should all know what we can put and what we can't put in our body. And so I asked very, very carefully, and he said to me, you need to have this. It is not going to do you any harm. You may well get a few side effects when you take it, because that's what happens with the flu vaccine. There are lots of other vaccines as well. And I'm getting concerned now. I'm not a medical person. I've had all the 3 jabs. I had a bit of a reaction to the booster, had a couple of days off work, made me feel really ill. But I feel fine now. I've been lots of places I probably shouldn't have been, bumped into lots of people I shouldn't, and touch wood, I still haven't had it. COVID, that is. I just worry that lots of people, and we've had them ring in very frightened to get the vaccine, very worried about it. We had a really disturbing call. If I ask you, you tell Laurence about it, from somebody who lost their partner. You remember? I think it was their wife that died. Satina, that was right. That was the name of the lady. And it was just very moving. And she hadn't had the vaccine. If she had the vaccine, they figured that she wouldn't have got as ill as she did.
Well, that's been proven in intensive care, hasn't it? That's the other thing, Laurence. I mean, you can see now through the people in intensive care, the people are mainly unvaccinated, the people in serious trouble.
That's not particularly true, Ash, actually, if you have a look at Sky News. So even the mainstream media are starting to report this. Now look, let's not get into an argument over who's got right on the
we're
science.
not to get into an argument. Lawrence, I never get into an argument until somebody starts being rude.
Would you agree with me, James, that 2 things? First of all, if you were profoundly ill and you have my heart and my thoughts, my prayers with the illness you're going through.
There are lots of people lots worse off than me.
But would you be okay with somebody who wasn't vaccinated treating you should you be in an urgent care situation?
Well, I wouldn't know in an urgent care situation, like if I fainted on the street or something. Just to get a bit of... I would rather not be treated by somebody. If I went to a hospital and I thought there was somebody who had not had the... Do you know, this is the point. Let me answer it this way. Yeah. The vast majority of people who work in the NHS have had the vaccine. Because of my situation, I have some... I have some nurses allotted to me that I can talk to, Macmillan nurses, and can I just say, Macmillan nurses are the most amazing ladies ever. One of them terribly outspoken about those who don't want to get the jab, very outspoken about it, because you can pass it on whether you've had the jab or not. That is absolutely right. But you have more chance if you haven't. But the thing that annoys a lot of people who work in the health service that I have spoken to, and I go there regularly, is that they think it is very condescending of those people who work within the health service and are told by... I know that Kevin had that anaesthetist bloke on who decided to have a go at the health secretary the other day. That's it. And quite frankly, when I've seen him being interviewed, he's enjoying his 15 minutes of fame as far as I'm concerned, because there are many doctors.
He's a man expressing his conscience. And I think what we have to have inside and part of this debate is the fact that what has happened is medicine has become a political arena. Now, I 100% support your friend at Macmillan, who turns around and is very, very strongly of the view that anyone who promotes vaccine hesitancy is wrong. But also at the same time, I think we need to allow for the fact that someone like me, who and this is a view that I have, I didn't just come out of it from thin air, who's going, okay, well, let's just have a look at the data. I'm unvaccinated. I've not been vaccinated. I'm very lucky with my current health profile, but I mean, look at the rollies. I'm probably going to head into my own health profile at some point.
No, I'm a great believer. Let me tell you, Laurence, I'm a great believer that our lives, I'm not religious in any way, shape or form, as everybody knows, but I think our lives are mapped out. I think, what our bodies can stand and can't stand is probably mapped out.
Do you think that part of this, so to take it to a slightly different level, do you think that part of this is because the fact that we don't really believe in things anymore? So certainly, in the olden days, people would defer to the church. You'd go to church and you'd go to archery practice after church, and church would tell you what to think. That we killed God, and now we have this feeling that that dying is in some way an offence to our humanity, and therefore the way that we avoid dying is to vaccinate our way out of it. And all I'm asking and all I'm saying is that ivermectin may be a complete and utter waste of time. But if it isn't a complete and utter waste of time, it's the government's duty and responsibility of care to the people to research it and see whether
they are doing that at the moment, apparently. They are doing
it is being trialled.
2 years in, though, Ash. 2 years in.
Yeah, but the vaccine, by the majority of people in healthcare, have said that it is a really good thing. It can help people get less ill. You are much better taking it like you're better taking the flu jab.
Yeah, 90% of doctors say it's a good thing. You have to look hard for one that doesn't. That's the thing.
Lawrence, before we go on to that, let's go back, because you made an interesting point about we're all trying to live forever. And I'm not sure that that's right. We were never meant really to live for more than, 70 years and 10 or something.
No, you become religious again.
No, I haven't. I'm just saying,
from the Bible. From the Bible.
Bodies are
whale quoting the Bible.
Bodies are worked out in such a way. Eventually, one day, I'm sure they'll make people live forever, which will completely mess up.
Apparently, if you're under about 6, 7 years old, you will live forever.
Well, I hope not.
You will.
For those people,
yeah, you will. They've got the technology that's about to come through.
Yeah, but can you live like you're a 20, 30,
Yeah, because all it is, age isn't wearing out. Age is just DNA strands cutting down. If you can stop that, you'll
let's go back very quickly. We're getting sidetracked.
Yeah,
I'm just saying no. I don't think that is the case. I'm quite old, as you, thank you very much, you pointed out, and I only just got married a few months ago again. I'm quite happy in my life at the moment. I'm having quite a good time. But once everything begins to fall off and fall apart, as it will, and as it will for all of us at some point, I'm quite happy to go. In fact, I'm a huge fan of assisted dying. And I think I will take myself over to that clinic and have an injection when I start not to be able to do the things that I enjoy doing in life. And I don't think I'm not frightened of dying at all. Rather sad to leave some people behind, particularly
why then, sorry to interrupt you, but why, if you're not frightened of dying, are you insistent on others taking a vaccine which is preventing you from getting ill?
I'm not too worried about me. I don't want to get ill, okay? I'm happy to live while I'm able to do this, while I'm able to do everything. I've had a few people who I really would, if I wasn't as well controlled, love to reply to on social media. Sometimes I do, but the language I would use would be appalling. Some people saying, oh, well, that poor James, well, he's got cancer and he's probably affecting the way he thinks and he's not very right in the head and all that. And patronising bollocks that comes out of some people's, and they're all very anonymous. None of them ever put their names on or identify themselves. And I get a bit cross about that. I'm happy. I'm really happy in life. I've got 2 nice dogs. I've got a lovely wife. I've got reasonably nice people in my family. I've got some grandchildren, and and you know, it'll all come to an end. And when it comes to an end, it could come to an end next week, next year. Who knows? Had a very good friend who had an aneurysm and dropped dead a year or so ago.
Do you
and
believe it? Do you believe
fit.
it? Do you have faith, James?
I'd like to. You're interviewing me now, which is interesting. I quite like to have faith, but no, I don't have a religious conviction. Funnily enough, because everybody I meet, whether they happen to be Christians, Muslims, any other sort of religion for that matter, they've all got this sort of wish to bow and scrape to some deity, and you know, as soon as you start alluding to sexual practices, yeah, they do.
No, I don't think they do. I think I think a lot of what
are
we're
you
finding
religious, Laurence?
A lot of what the data is saying is that a lot of the hesitancy towards the vaccine comes from people who do have faith of whichever kind. So
really,
you've got the Amish in America who are all drinking out of the same font, knowing that coronavirus was spreading. You know, there is a lot of indication that people are. Those that with faith are less worried about this disease than those that aren't. And, you know, and also then we've got this terrible, ugly, worryingly ethnic problem, which is that those from I'm not sure we're allowed to call people BAME anymore. I think there's probably a new updated version of it. But, you know, the uptake of the vaccine is very much...
So are you saying some religions then are against vaccines and they think God will prevail?
No, I think that some people just think that there are viruses in this world and bad things happen, and they will put their faith and their hope in God. And I think that's probably a more useful thing than bullying and coercing an entire population, shutting down an entire society, destroying education for the sake of what I call safety.
I see what you're getting at, Laurence, but I actually think that those sort of people are the most ridiculously stupid people who think
why
that
do you
sort
think
of thing.
They're so,
I just
why do you
because they bully other people.
Why, James?
They're severely homophobic. They
hang
are obsessed with these rules and regulations.
James,
I tell you what, hang on there. We're going to take a break. You can hang on. You can start right off from this. I've just been reminded I haven't taken one commercial break since we started talking, so I'll do it now. You can fire away after this.
Good talk.
Hot talk. Bold talk. Talk radio.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Watch it live on your smart TV.
The world headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.